After perhaps their most complete victory of the season, Toledo Rockets are back in the Glass Bowl this Saturday. We're joined now in studio with Mike Robinson, the sideline reporter on the Rocket Radio Network. And Mike, Rob, the trip to Amherst went well. Toledo got accomplished what they needed to get accomplished. Most importantly, they got the victory.
Absolutely. They went out there and had their best game all season. They came out there and really scored the points that they wanted to. They got the rushing yards, they got the passing yards, and they got the touches. And the beautiful thing about this game was everybody got to play. So that's the best part. When you see all your players getting on film and those guys are happy, everybody's happy.
A lot of conversation last week about the offensive line and the lack of a rushing attack. And when we talked to the senior member of that line, Center Bryce Harris, he said, we're taking this personally. This is a challenge for us. We're going to focus on details and take care of business. That is exactly what they did, as we saw our most balanced Rocket scoring attack, as they were pretty much equal with pass yardage and rush yardage against the Minutemen.
They did a better job this week protecting the quarterback and definitely gaining and protecting their running backs. The running game definitely came to life this week, able to find Colback in the end zone twice. He hadn't been able to do that since Norfolk State. You know, although he only got 85 yards, the rest of the running backs stepped up, and this was just a good team victory for them. So the offensive line, they were challenged, and they stepped up for it, not giving up too many sacks, but they did do a good job of letting that quarterback sit in the pocket and have plenty of passing yards, and not just one, but both of them.
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the key things. You just said they're quarterbacks in the pocket as we continue to see the two-quarterback system. But I think for the first time, we saw Daquan Finn be a little bit more comfortable throwing the ball around. I think he was 8 of 10 passing. Carter Bradley, we know what he can do through the air. But with Daquan Finn throwing the ball as well as he did against UMass, that adds a dimension to the offense when Finn is in there that makes this Rocket offensive attack that much more dangerous.
Absolutely. One thing the Rockets are starting to figure out is as they move the pocket, it's a little bit better for a quarterback like Daquan Finn because he can get outside that pocket once it's rolling. He can throw it to the sidelines and make those passes. Everyone was a big critic about him not being able to throw the football really well. I think he just hadn't had the opportunity to throw the ball as many times as the other quarterbacks have. And although we do know Carter Bradley, he is doing an excellent job of leading his team. Sometimes he throw the ball a little bit too high or don't get rid of it in time, but the balance is kind of there still. And right now in this quarterback race, it looked like the upper hand is coming to Finn, but they're still working together really well. And Coach Candle is doing an excellent job of just maintaining, the egos, and these guys are still excited about playing no matter when they go in.
The defense did a tremendous job once again. They did allow a touchdown late in the game. Basically, it was the backups, but I'm sure that doesn't sit very well with Vince Karras and company. They want to continue to not allow touchdowns. They only gave up 10 points, but there was a six-handed hung on them.
Absolutely. They got hit with some penalties, and that's one part that's coming with the team as well. We'll mention on that. But as far as the defense, let's talk about these guys up front. You talk about Jamal Hines having 8 tackles and Maxon Hook really stepping up, doing an excellent job in his safety spot, filling in those gaps. And he's really become a real staple on this defense as Tyson Anderson has been battling injuries and working his way back into the lineup as a full-time starter. I think Coach Karras is doing an excellent job rotating these guys. You had over 20 different Rockets have tackles, whether it was assisted or solo. They get in the party, and everybody's getting to the ball. So this team defense is top 24 in the nation, and also their passing defense is top 18 in the country. So they're doing a really good job of mitigating offensive lines from getting on their linebackers.
What is your biggest takeaway from the victory over UMass?
The biggest takeaway, I'd say, is that they played a complete game, as you mentioned, to start out with. This is a football team. They kind of struggle, and they've penalties, and I talked about that, and we'll hit it here. The penalties have been going down each week. We've seen them be the most penalized team in the country, but each week they've been going down and down and down, so that's a good direction for this football team. They're still having some of these, undisciplined penalties, jumping off. It sounds like they have a verbal cadence now a little bit for their snap count, so it looks like it shouldn't be as much confusion, and especially in a stadium like the Minuteman Stadium, it wasn't really that loud at all. So, they got to find a way to kind of cue those things up, clean them up, and you know what? And I think this football team is heading in the right direction, especially with the way they're working on offense now.
2 road games, 2 road victories back-to-back for the Rockets. They are returning home to take on Northern Illinois. It seems a little bit weird to say Northern Illinois in October. We're used to these games being in November with the MAC West title on the line, but the Huskies come in like UT, 3-2. Northern Illinois did beat Georgia Tech, a Power 5 school, to open up the season, then got walloped by Michigan, and Michigan's looking really good right now anyways. So Northern Illinois, UT, on paper, a pretty even matchup, you think?
Absolutely. You know, in the MAC West, you never really know what you're going to get. You know, life's like a box of chocolate in this conference. You know, it's going to be an interesting battle here. It's homecoming, so the Rockets are going to have a lot of things to play for this weekend. And as far as the gameplay, you saw what the Rockets did last year, and also you take it back to 2017 when they won the championship, the league championship. They had to go on a roll and beat this NIU team, this team that's been cursing this Rockets football program since the earlier part of this century. They got to find a way to get over that hump and kind of just play good football. When Toledo plays up, they're playing pretty good. But also we saw what happened when Colorado State came in. They played really hard physical football, and they took away the strengths of the Rockets team by mitigating their big plays on offense. So I think for this Saturday, the Rockets are going to have to lock in and really find more ways to get Koback the ball. He only had 85 yards. We're expecting to see him have 150-plus yard games so that this run game can really open it up for the pass.
Rockets have proven they can win on the road. Now they need to prove they can win at home against a FBS team and continue to keep their MAC hopes alive. Mike Robinson from the Rocket Radio Network, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.